It does seem that Marion's left out of the gang more and more lately. Maybe it'd do her some good to have a little party.
So, crazy gross day outside today, so let's take it inside and talk a little bit about productivity. All right, so a little bit of backstory before we get into the strategy specifically. So this happened around 1918, supposedly, as the story goes. Charles Schwab, yes, that Charles Schwab, owner of the largest shipbuilder, the second largest steel company in America, and like one of the richest dudes in the world at the time, he was crazy competitive, and so he wanted to increase production and increase productivity with his company. So he sought out the help of Ivy Lee, a guy known around the world as a productivity consultant du jour. The guy was amazing. He was an innovator in public relations. He was a very successful dude in his own right. So he seeks this guy out and he says basically, look, what can you do for me and my team? So this guy Ivy basically says, look, I'm gonna give me 15 minutes. Give me 15 minutes with all your top guys and I'll make it all better for you. And Schwab says, well, what's it gonna cost me? And he says, look, you don't even have to pay me now. Implement what I'm telling you, give it 3 months, and then after that 3 months, pay me what you think this advice was worth. So let's dive into that strategy he gave to the executives at some of the richest companies America's ever seen. Okay, so what would the productivity king of his day give away for free to one of the richest men in the world because he was so sure it was going to be effective? So let's talk a little bit about the Ivy Lee strategy. This is very simple, guys. A very simple strategy for increasing your productivity to just untold levels compared to what you're currently doing if you're not doing something like this. So what is the Ivy Lee strategy? It's very simple, very few steps. Step 1, at the end of every day, make a list of 6 things you want to do tomorrow. List out 6 things that you want to do tomorrow, right? So you're going to make this list and it's going to consist of whatever it is you want to. Step 2 is prioritize that list. Prioritize that list. Once it is in priority, you've got 1 through 6 of what it is you need to get done the next day. Step 3 is very simple. Very simple. Do the list. Do the things on the list, right? So the very next morning, you're going to do the things on the list. And that is it, in the order that it is given. So 1 through 6, you're going to focus on number 1. You're going to put all your stock in number 1, right? You're not going to do anything else until number 1 is done. Then you move on to number 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. By the end of the day, you've done 6 things, unless, for some reason you weren't able to get all the way to 6, but you've done so many things that were the priority to get done that day that you can't help but to increase, revenue, increase growth, increase whatever it is you're after. You're going to absolutely crush it because these are the only things that you should be focusing on. Almost never are you going to put on your list surf Facebook for 4 hours. Almost never are you going to put it on your list to go to YouTube and look at cat videos. It's not going to happen. You're only going to be doing the things that are the most important for your business. Lastly, he said, take these principles and apply them to the rest of your life and rinse and repeat every day. So I know what you're thinking. What did this simple productivity tip actually get Ivy Lee, right? He offered for free to the richest man in the world the best tip he possibly could. Well, 3 months later, with all of the improvements that happened with the company, Charles Schwab wrote him a $25,000 check, which in today's standards, I wouldn't be upset if someone sent me $25,000, but back then that was the equivalent of $400,000. Almost $500,000 is how effective this strategy was for one of the richest men in the world and his team. So, take the tip and do likewise. We'll catch you guys next time.